Hello. I need to eat. I need to take a shower. I feel a little grimy too. Slept like 15 hours last night after staying up for 2 days. We should normalize that. Stay up for 2 days, get 2 days worth of sleep. Lots more time to do stuff. Anyway, Exodus. If I say Genesis, I'm sorry, because I was saying Exit or Genesis so long. I keep reminding myself. Exodus chapter 7. Then the Lord said to Moses, "See, I have made you as God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet. As for you, you shall speak all that I command you, and your brother Aaron shall speak to Pharaoh that he lets the sons of Israel go out of his land. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, so that I may multiply my sons and my daughters in the land of Egypt. When Pharaoh..." Let me repeat that. I misspoke. "I will harden Pharaoh's heart, so that I may multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. When Pharaoh does not listen to you, I will lay my hand on Egypt and bring out my armies, my people, the sons of Israel, from the land of Egypt by great judgments. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I extend my hand over Egypt and bring out the sons of Israel from their midst." So Moses and Aaron did this, as the Lord commanded them. So they did. And Moses was 80 years old and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "When Pharaoh who speaks to you, saying, 'Work a miracle,' then you shall say to Aaron, 'Take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, so that it may turn into a serpent.'" So Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh, and so they did, just as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron threw his staff down before Pharaoh and his servants, and it turned into a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers, and they too, the soothsayer priests of Egypt, did the same with their secret arts. For each one threw down his staff, and they turned into serpents. But Aaron's staff swallowed their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he did not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He refuses to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning, just as he is going out to the water, and position yourself to meet him on the bank of the Nile. And you shall take in your hand the staff that was turned into a serpent, and you shall say to him, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to you, saying, Let my people go, so that they may serve me in the wilderness. But behold, you have not listened up to now. This is what the Lord says. By this you shall know that I am the Lord. Behold, I am going to strike the water that is the Nile with the staff that is in my hand, and it will be turned into blood. Then the fish that are in the Nile will die. The Nile will stink, and the Egyptians will no longer be able to drink water from the Nile.' Then the Lord said to Moses, 'Say to Aaron, take your staff and extend your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, over their pools, and over all their reservoirs of water, so that they may become blood. And there will be blood through all the land of Egypt, both in containers of wood and in containers of stone.' So Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord had commanded. And he lifted up the staff and struck the water that was in the Nile, in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants. And all the water that was in the Nile was turned into blood. Then the fish that were in the Nile died, and the Nile stank, so that the Egyptians could not drink water from the Nile. And the blood was through all the land of Egypt. But the soothsayer priests of Egypt did the same with their secret arts, and Pharaoh..." So did they do also just to prove they turned the water into blood themselves? To prove they were as strong as God, but they at the same time destroyed the water? That's counterproductive, I suppose. So all the Egyptians dug around the Nile for water to drink, because they could not drink from the water of the Nile. 7 days passed after the Lord had struck the Nile. Exodus chapter 8. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what the Lord says. Let my people go, so that they may serve me. But if you refuse to let them go, behold, I am going to strike your entire territory with frogs. The Nile will swarm with frogs. which will come up and go into your house and into your bedroom and on your bed and into the houses of your servants and on your people and into your ovens and kneading bowls. So the frogs will come up on you, your people, and all your servants. Then the Lord said to Moses, say to Aaron, extend your hand with your staff over the rivers, over the streams, and over the pools, and make frogs come up out of the land of Egypt. So Aaron extended his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. However, the soothsayer priests did the same with their secret arts, making frogs come up on the land of Egypt. Why are they? That doesn't make any sense. Why? Just to prove that they are as strong? That's ridiculous. It's foolish. God's working through them, honestly, to make it worse. Nice. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, plead with the Lord to remove the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, so that they may sacrifice to the Lord. And Moses said to Pharaoh, the honor is yours to tell me. When shall I plead for you and your servants and your people, that the frogs be destroyed from you and your houses, that they be left only in the Nile? Then he said, tomorrow. So he said, may it be according to your word, so that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God. The frogs will depart from you and your houses, and from your servants and your people. They will be left only in the Nile. Then Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried out to the Lord concerning the frogs which he had inflicted upon Pharaoh. The Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, the courtyards, and the fields. So they piled them in heaps, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart and did not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, say to Aaron, extend your staff and strike the dust of the earth, so that it may turn into gnats through all the land of Egypt. They did so, and Aaron extended his hand with his staff and struck the dust of the earth, and there were gnats on every person and animal. All the dust on the earth turned into gnats through all the land of Egypt. The soothsayer priests tried with their secret arts to produce gnats, but they could not. So there were gnats on every person and animal. Then the soothsayer priests said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of God, because they can't do it. They said, oh no, we aren't this strong. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he did not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, rise early in the morning and present yourself before Pharaoh as he comes out to the water, and say to him, this is what the Lord says, let my people go, so that they may serve me. For if you are not going to let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies on you and your servants and on your people, and into your houses. And the houses of the Egyptians will be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground on which they live. But on that day I will set apart the land of Goshen, where my people are living, so that no swarms of flies will be there, in order that you may know that I, the Lord, am in the midst of the land. I will put a division between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign will occur. Then the Lord did so, and thick swarms of flies entered the houses of Pharaoh and the houses of his servants. And the land was laid waste because of the swarms of flies in all the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, go sacrifice to your God within the land. But Moses said, it is not permissible for us to do so, because we will sacrifice to the Lord our God that which is an abomination to the Egyptians. If we sacrifice that which is an abomination to the Egyptians before their eyes, will they not stone us? We must go a 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, just as he commanded us. Pharaoh said, I will let you go, so that you may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only you shall not go very far away. Plead for me. Then Moses said, behold, I am going to leave you, and I will plead with the Lord that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. Only do not let Pharaoh deal deceitfully again in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. So Moses left Pharaoh and pleaded with the Lord. The Lord did as Moses asked, and removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. Not one remained. But Pharaoh hardened his heart this time also, and he did not let the people go. Just cut it there. It's a common theme. The Pharaoh just lies, just to get what he wants, And then he says, nay. JK, you're stuck here. And then God says, ma. Egyptians. Sorry, Lord. And then they lie. Stab them. Anyway, that was my little theater of Exodus so far. We'll continue later. Have a good time.